Hi, it's James Willoughby with the JW team here at Keller Williams, bringing you once again an edition of What's Happening in Austin Real Estate. Here we go. This is what happened in week 1 of August. Okay, so what I'm finding is that we're having an interesting trend where the total active listings are starting to go down. Remember, we peaked out at over 15,000 listings in June, and then it dropped a little bit in July, and it's kind of bounced around under that 15,000. Now we're at 14,650. So it's a little bit of an improvement, which is good. You can see we're kind of over the hump in terms of peak inventory, at least on the graph here, right? And let's take a deeper dive on what happened this last week. So we always say new active listings versus new pending listings. Those are listings that went under contract last week. We had 992 new listings last week. 122 went pending. So we've been a little slide here from what was our peak for the last several months of almost 900. Now we're down to the low 8s, okay, which honestly it's been bouncing around in that low between 8 and 900, really. Now, what does that mean in terms of the absorption rate? How many weeks of inventory do we have? Well, we have just under 17 weeks of inventory, and it's kind of bounced up because the number of sales in the last 2 weeks have bounced down. So we kind of hit a low here for a minute of just under 17 weeks. So we're back up to almost 18 weeks of inventory. And the other thing we always talk about, we mentioned this last week, are failed listings. So basically at the end of each month, a lot of listing contracts expire, and we saw 669 failed listings or listings that either terminated or just expired. They were no longer valid because you have to have an end date on a listing agreement. Typically, the end date is the end of a month. If you look at that, you can see that that is higher, of course, than last year. And that's the highest it's been since the beginning of the year when a lot of listings, a lot of people call it quits at the end of the year. The spike way to the left there. We were mentioning in a prior video we were talking about median sales price. Our median sales price actually dropped this last month. We are down to 445. We were as high as 467. Median sales price, it's the middle sales price. It can be a little herky-jerky just because, we were closing, 3,000 homes a month or something like that. And occasionally you'll throw in there a couple of really big ones or maybe smaller ones or whatever the case might be. But you can see that there's always a peak, and the peaks here are usually, in spring or summer. There's, June of 2023, April of 2024 was the peak. We had a crazy little spike, an anomaly there. And then this year, May of 2025 was the peaks. Okay, so that's it for this week. Next week, we will dive a little bit deeper into a couple other subjects: time on the market or days on the market versus median days on the market. So average days versus the median days on the market, and the absorption rate. How are they interrelated? How can we look at them and determine whether we're on target or not if we're a seller? All right, until then, have a good week.